Welcome to Uncensored with V. This is the second episode today. If you guys you can go check out my first episode on Spotify and the music. All the download streaming device that you guys have that streams podcasts. I am on there. If you guys would like to go check it out. There's other episodes that's on there too. And if you can support the page, hit support button on the page. Um, like I said, today this is the second episode for today. We're gonna talk some more about what happened over at Minnesota as more details have come out. And I've read there's a lot more stuff that's come out with this. Um, this situation has gotten a lot of people in frantic mode. Um, I'm seeing people in their respective towns are saying they have feeling that the cops are acting different now because of all this. I'm going to say this. Gonna say this. From my understanding, ISIS is not police. Oh, they're not police officers. They're not police officers. So therefore, those two situations are two different things. Okay. I'm not justifying anything. And yes, I've said it before. There are bad cops and there are good cops. Okay. Also, we also need to learn when you are doing things that are illegal and you get and you try to put up a fight and arguments within the officer, it does never end well on your behalf. Okay, that's one clear thing to say. Okay, too many people I've seen or I've heard have done this stuff. Okay, you get pulled over. Look, if you are driving illegal and you have legal substance or anything legal in your vehicle, the best option for you to do is just let the cop know. Take the punishment. Don't fight back. Don't argue. Don't make a scene because it's just going to escalate to something farther worse. Should. Okay, that's the first thing I would like to say about that. Now, like I said in my other podcast, this whole thing that happened out in Minnesota, it's all to me seems to me it's just it's. I thought I said and I thought about this today. Before I did the second podcast, the second show. I said I find it very interesting that this is all happening right around the same time that Trump and the administration went over to that other country, allegedly kidnapped their president and brought him back here to stand trial. And a lot of things were twisted. First, it was said it was done because of the drugs that were brought in here in the United States that were killing people because they were links. Then there was now it's switched over to this all about being about oil. I've always said this, they will throw us anything to distract us from what's majorly happened. Now, with that saying, I'm not saying that this was a big distraction. And like I said, I'm into this conspiracy theories. So I'm going to throw one out there. I'm not saying that, hey, gonna sound crazy, but worst things has happened and they haven't been fooling us. Is this whole thing a setup to make us look the other way? Not saying that. Just saying sometimes we have to really look at the bigger picture. How they're broadcasting this on every station, every station, all on social media. It's like I get it. It's a big deal that this happened. A really big deal. Should have never happened. I said that in another podcast. Should never happen. But my feeling is now that people are being amped up and they're looking at it like, okay, well, they did this. So now every person that wears a uniform that carries a badge is guilty. So now we're gonna point the fingers at all. That's not the way it should go. Okay. One small apple does not ruin it for the rest of the apples. Okay. So I think we all just need to sit back and just be careful what we put out in the universe and what we say and what we do, because at the end of the day, this is like I said in the other podcast, this is exactly what they're trying to get us to do. It's called divide and conquer. That's exactly what they want. And when you start doing stuff, pointing fingers and blaming everybody because of one person's mistake or whatever situation was that made him do what he did to that lady, it becomes it becomes a really bad situation. Yeah. So my thing is like this is like I said, they're gonna keep it drawn out for a few weeks, month. You know how this goes. Like I said in my last podcast earlier today, they're gonna draw this out. You know, this will fade out in the news media in a couple weeks. You won't hear about it anymore after everything's been stirred up. And it's crazy that's how the media works. That's how they brainwash us. They just put it on every single platform. So it's embedded in your brain. So you think about this stuff, you wake up thinking about it, you see it on the news, you hear it on the radio. That's what they do. It's no fact this is exactly how they do it, and this is how they get people stirred up. You know, but I am going to say this because there have been a lot of ignorant comments made about the situation. Look, whatever the case is, okay, with this situation, somebody did use their limb. To make the ignorant comments that people I've seen people make, it's terrifying. Somebody lost their life, children lost their mother, shouldn't have never happened. Okay, I said this before. This has all been recorded. Somewhere down the line, her children are going to see this. This is not a time for negative comments and trying to make comments or make video just to get a like, saying off the wall stuff. This is not the time for that. Well, I think if you have something negative to say, don't say it. Oh, keep it to yourself. Respect the family. Respect the family. Whether you don't like what happened, how she handled the situation that got her unalive, that's your opinion. But respect the family, though. You know, a lot of people get on here on their stations or the comment just to get likes, just to basically just to be saying anything. Not that's crazy. Not how this is supposed to go. And it just shows a lot of ignorant people in this world that does stuff like that. You know, and like like I said, this is their main objective. Just keep throwing this out until something else comes up where they have to distract us from. You know, like I said, I'm not saying don't listen to the story, don't invest into the story. Yes, because you should invest in it, because it should also be a warning or a lesson to everybody what not to do in a situation like this. You know, like I said, I don't know the situation. I wasn't there. I've only gone over what I've seen on the internet and as I've seen on social media or what I've seen on the news channel. All I know is like this, you know, obviously the ICE agent, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay. From what I've read, the vice president had made a comment about in a few weeks or a few months, they're gonna start going door to door. Okay. Listen, I'm gonna say this, and like I said, this station, when I made this podcast, I said this is about controversial. It's about uncensored, voicing your opinion without being judged. So I'm gonna say this. Okay. If that is the case, they're coming door to door. If one of them decides to come straight to door, just do what you are told to do. If, and I say only if, and things get out of hand and you feel that your life is in danger, then I have to say you have to protect yourself. So at the end of the day, hey, look, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people probably not gonna agree. Okay, look, on the streets, when people know if you hey, if you ran the streets, you know how it go. It's do or die. It's either him or me. So if one of the agents comes to your door and you've done what you was told to do, and you feel like your life is in the danger because that's not good enough, and if you have to protect yourself, protect yourself. That's what I say when it comes to. I'm not promoting violence in no shape, form, or way. Hell, I hate that this has even come down to stuff like this. But at the end of the day, you don't want nobody taking your life. I know I don't want nobody taking my life for something if I haven't done anything. No, that's not the no, that's not how that's supposed to go. Okay, and like I said, just be careful out there because you do have evil walking upon us. I've said it before. There are a lot of evil people walking among us, and and you have some of them that are have the right to carry and play judge and all of that with your life. You do. You definitely do have some of those people out there that are like that. So I'd say this to say that we definitely need to be careful. Hey, do what you have to do to survive. That's the motto that I live on. Okay. Um, what I don't, I also was reading during that time in Minnesota that all of this is happening. After all of this happened, there was a situation in a high school in this where decided to go into the high school and chaos was caused and the school was shut down and out in Minnesota for the rest of the week because of it. Look, look, okay, here's the thing with this, and I don't agree, and I'm just voicing my opinion. Going into school when there are children who cannot defend themselves is wrong. It's wrong. There's no reason for that. That right there is just plain to me. I've said this in my other podcast. If you guys go listen to me, it seems like this is a form of bullying. That's what it seems like to me. Now, when you start doing stuff like that, that's crazy because it seems like to me, if you look at this, it seems like we as a country has just went backwards now. You know, this is the stuff that they did back in the day, what in Germany, where the soldiers would come to the housing and pull people out and I mean, are we moving backwards now? That's what it seems like. Like you're going to schools, terrorizing these kids, and you're doing all of this. What do you think is going to happen when people say enough is enough? Now, like I said, I'm not promoting violence, but what do you think is going to happen? There has to be a different way of going about this. You know, me personally, it doesn't seem like this was planned out too thoroughly when it came to Trump sending out the ICE out here to get the immigrants or illegals. Doesn't seem like it was planned it out that well because it seems like now it's a free fall. They're just coming after everybody, you know. And like I said, I never thought it was even about the leaders. I thought it was more of a control, and that was just something they used as an excuse to do what they're doing right now. You know, I said that from the beginning. This has nothing to do with what they're saying on the TV and what he's trying to sell everybody. You know, and you take it back to what a few months ago when they had that big meeting with the military, and Trump out of his own mouth said he's thinking about using military to do practice in big cities. Let that sink in. So I'm just saying, like, one thing I say about Trump is that he tells everybody what he's going to do, whether we believe it or not. That's another case because he definitely said that a few months ago, and then now you have all the stuff, the shooting, and the ISIS drugging people. Basically, he already said this is what the plan was, you know. So you just got to be vigilant and watch out for your neighbors. That's what I'm just going to say. Protect yourself. I said this in other podcasts, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. When we realize we have all we got, the military, these ISIS agents, they don't care. I'm going to reverse that. I'm not going to say all, because I don't know all. I'm not going to say all military and all. I don't know. The ones that are drinking the Kool-Aid that he's pouring are the ones that don't care. Let me rephrase that. So all I can say is people, it's a wild time, a very wild time that we're living in right now, very scary time. And my thing is when you keep poking the bear and people are scared people that they are quick to defend themselves by any means. And right now you have a lot of scared people. And when it comes to that, then you just have all out chaos. And I have a feeling this is where this is building up to. You know, I said this before. There's got to be a different way of going about doing this. You know, but I don't see any changes coming. I think it's going to be the same, and it's going to get worse because people are picking sides, and that's the problem right here. The people are picking sides or and justifying what's going on and making it seem like it's not a big deal. You know, blaming, oh, well, Biden, his administration, that's what people in here, and this is the reason for this. Okay, that's everybody's opinion, but hey, at the end of the day, whether Biden and them let them in here, something crazy was going to pop off either way, you know, and the fingers were going to be pointed anyway with anything that happens. Okay, so I just I don't know. I think everything is crazy. Me personally, you want my opinion? People sit here and point the finger at Biden. I think they all run together. And that's just my opinion. And this may sound like I'm crazy. I would not be surprised they all sit around and say, "Hey, how can we screw these people and make it look like it's the?" I tell y'all, you gotta look between the lines. They're all they're all the same. They're not for us. I don't care who's in that office, black, white, Mexican, green, yellow, alien. I don't care. They're not. They're not for us. They're just there to screw us over and tell us what we want to hear. And when shit hits the fan, they'll be the first one to run or point the finger or lie about it. That's just how it's been. That's how it's been for the longest. Okay. So like I said, all this picking and choosing and picking sides and shit. Yeah, okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Okay, when shit hit the fan, they're not gonna be around to endure what's coming. They're gonna be tucked away safe while we're out here fighting to survive. Just something people need to think about, you know, because this is exactly what it's designed to do. The media, all of it, it's designed to divide. That's why they post this stuff constantly. News feeds, content around the clock, the same stuff, trying to divide. And some of us we fall for it. We definitely fall for it, and this is what happened. Okay, so anybody that sits up here and think that hey, I'm not just saying this administrator, any other people, anybody that sits there and truly believe that these people getting off it for our best attention, you might want to just, I don't know, rethink your life because if you believe that, if you believe anything, because that's me, it's insane. It's been shown people don't care. It's been shown over the years of many mistakes. I didn't even say mistakes. Many things these presidents have done my involved with you go back to 9/11. Yes, 9/11, the whole George Bush BS bullshit that happened. You know, we all know now looking back what really went down with that and what that was all about. I'm just saying, okay? Yes, I go back to Obama. He's another one, Obama. He got in all this, he got all these, made all these problems, all this stuff, how he was going to clean up Chicago, and that was his home, that was his home state, that was his home state. Um, Never did anything, didn't really do anything, you know. All of it is funny to me, you know. I had a conversation with someone before a few days ago, and they were bringing up the Obama, how Obama a lot, caught that terrorist guy. And I said to myself, and I've been saying this since when that happened, it's funny how they caught that person right around the time when re-election was coming up. Was he ever caught? That's another conspiracy theory that I'm willing to share. My opinion? No, I don't think so. I think they put that out there just to push for him to be president again. Just my opinion. Because, like I said, none of them care. They play right in our face, and we just sit there and take it and we like it. And that's just my opinion. That's what we do, and that's what they do. You know, I've always said you want a true person to lead us. Stop picking people that have never been through the struggle. Stop picking these 50, 60-year old people that's been rich their whole life, had everything handed to them, because they don't know the struggle. You want somebody that's truly in office? Pick somebody that has been through the struggle, that knows how to talk and walk with the common people. That's how, in my opinion, things change. But if you keep picking the same people and they keep saying the same stuff when they get in that office, preaching and giving us the same speech and the same lies, it's never going to change. It's going to be the same thing. The next president after this is going to do the same thing. He's got a bad mouth Trump and stuff that he's done and how he can make it better. And then he gets into office, nothing changed. Well, he's just 10 times worse than the last president. So people, and I've had people tell me, so what should we do then? What should you do? I've said it before. Stop believing everything they tell you. Stop believing that your votes count. Stop believing that you have opinions and if it matters to them. Come together, figure out a different way about going about this. That's what we do. You know, it's crazy because things are only going to get worse, and it's only going to get worse. And anybody that's believing drinking the Kool-Aid that's being thrown out there, you will see. You will see. You will see exactly how things are going to get worse. And it's going to get worse. And it's just sad because, like I said, the whole school thing, these children are innocent. You don't go into school scaring kids. I mean, that is just bizarre to me. Why would you do that? Why would you go into school? Like, come on, man. But I can guarantee you, these these officers that have went into these schools and done it, that their kids are somewhere tucked away safe. Don't have to go through this. That tells you they don't care. They don't care. It's not their family that's expecting it. They don't care. So, like I said before, just we gotta do better. We gotta do better, and we gotta keep stop falling into the traps of divide and conquer. Because if we continue going this way, that's exactly what's gonna happen, and nobody wins from our standpoint. From when I mean our standpoint, from regular citizens. None of us is gonna win. Black, white, it doesn't matter. None of us is gonna win at the end. It's gonna be them winning because we are allowing them to divide and conquer. And we fall for every little thing that they do. Everything we say, people fall for it. They believe in it. Uh, what do a used car salesman does when they sell you a car? They tell you everything you want to hear to get you to buy the car. No different than politicians. No different. Okay, so that's why I say people need to. I hate to use the word wake up, but they do. We need to wake up and realize what the problems are at. You know, and it's messed up. It's a messed up situation. They're gonna keep this going, but like I said, it's up to us to believe what we know. You know, we can believe what they're telling us, or we can believe what we see right in front of our eyes and what we hear with our own ears. Not what you hear on the TV, but your own ears. And hey, people are smart. They can read between the lines when a line and a lie is a lie. So that's how I look at it. But on the other news, I'm gonna say this. Like I said, this channel wasn't just based off talking about negativity that goes on here in the world. But this situation in Minnesota had been everywhere, and I thought I'd touch base on it. First, I was not gonna even say anything about this because I've said this before. Too many people have commented on it, and but I felt that maybe I needed to come on here and discuss this and put my opinion on how I feel this is all. But like I said, this channel was not just based off negativity. I'm still setting up the music part of the podcast. Um, like I said, this podcast is also speaking on sports. I know the playoffs and the NFL is about to start. I said before, me personally, I haven't really watched the NFL in a while. I'm a big Tom Brady fan. After Tom Brady left, I sort of stopped watching. Don't really have a favorite team anymore. I just go off what I see, what's up TV, and you know, um, I know because I'm from the area, I know the Chicago Bears are playing Packers. I'm not a fan of either one of them, but if I had to choose, I guess it would be the Bears. Definitely want to win. Hopefully, they've had some. They had a good season this season, a decent season, surprisingly good season. Um, so hoping that they get the win. Um, other news, in sport, I mean, I like, I'm more of an NBA type of player. Sports watch. I watch basketball, NBA. And I haven't been really watching that much anymore because that has been watered down. That's a whole different podcast. But that the NBA has been watered down in my opinion, and yeah, there's not too many good in my opinion, that's out there that even changed from years ago when it used to be excited. Now it's just teams making stupid trades that you just be like, wow, did they really just trade that player for nothing? Okay, what are we doing here? Yeah, so you know, um, I've been trying to catch up with the Lakers. LeBron James, not my favorite player. So I'm gonna say he's degraded. That's a whole different debate. I don't, me personally, he's one of the greatest. If he's the greatest, you know, one thing I do like about LeBron though, and this is beyond basketball, like before, this is way beyond this. I like the fact that that young brother that has given back to his community. His man has opened up school. If you don't hear negative stuff about him beyond basketball. You never hear it on basketball court and how people don't like the way he plays, how he flops when he's fouled. But let's be honest, you don't hear anything past that. He's not even that. Man has been playing for 20 something years. I have not heard one scandal against him. You don't hear that about a lot of great players, especially look, I like to, the, the space of the company like that. Like LeBron James is the face of the NBA. You know, people can say, "Well, bring up Jordan." Yeah, you know what? Look, man, look. I was a Jordan. I'm still a Jordan fan. I would say that Jordan was great, but hey, listen, all people are that's a different story. Okay, what people, but they don't. I mean, now some people know the real truth about the whole Jordan retirement thing, the first retirement. How, that wasn't a retirement, that was more a suspension for his gambling problem. He got in debt, right? Which caused his father to be unalive, and the NBA felt like they couldn't have the face of the NBA going through that stuff, so they decided to make him retire, told him, hey, take a break for 2 years, 2 year suspension. We'll call it retirement. Go play baseball. Come back when everything died down. That's exactly how that situation went. Um, Jordan, besides the other things, is I'm gonna be honest. He really haven't doesn't give his opinion when it comes down to stuff that happens. And I've always felt that was kind of crazy. Like you are out there, you're Michael Jordan, I mean, everybody in the world knows and you don't really offer your opinion about anything that happens and it goes on, And you get it, I get it. You want to mess up your endorsement, you don't want to mess up your money, but at some point, dude, like, come on, you hear, yeah, and you're falling right into the what I just said about politicians. They don't really care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't promote. It's not affecting them. They don't care about the country. Floyd does not care about the people that go spend their $100, $200 on his shoes. He don't care. If he cared, he would voice your opinion a little bit, even if it's one or twice. He has never, in my opinion, what I've seen and heard, never have voiced his opinion about anything that has gone on. So that's another reason why you know, Mark Brown, like I said, the greatest. Yes, Michael Jordan may be the greatest to play the game of basketball, but to me, when you throw out that word great, it's got to be more than just sports. It's got to be what they've done off the court, things they have done to basically better their community. And at that point, when you talk about stuff like that, I add it over to LeBron, like I said, because man has spoken up before about things that have happened, even though people criticized him for doing it, saying, "Hey, play basketball. You don't have opinion." Yes, okay, because they have a platform to speak to people and speak for people that can't speak. I say you do that. You do that. That shows what type of person you are. So when it comes to that, I look at it totally differently. Like I said, when people go to word around that word greatness and yeah, it goes more than just the sport that they play. It goes to what have they done in the community, what have they done and the public eye. That to me sums up greatness. So yeah, that's like I said, this station was supposed to be about is gonna be about all that. I just thought that whole Minnesota thing, I just brought it out. I know I'm rambling on back and forth with everything, but just to let you guys know that it's not just going to be about negativity stuff that goes on. I mean, there's a lot of negative stuff, so I'm obviously, if I feel like it's worth talking about on the station, I will talk about it. Because I know people don't want to just hear the negative stuff that goes on. You want to you want to turn on your whatever radio, iPod, anything. I know me. I like to turn my, if it's music, listening to, I don't want to hear negative, what's going, you see enough of it on the internet. You see enough of it on social media. You don't want to hear it every time when you turn on a podcast or anything like that. I just thought I would touch base on this whole thing that's going on in Minnesota to let you guys know, hey, take care of each other. You know, but like I said, I am setting up the music. Like I said, Sunday, I hopefully. we'll be doing it. And like I said, I was gonna have Sunday be more like a throwback music, you know, a chill day, Sunday. I call it chill Sunday. So, hopefully tomorrow I can get on. We can, don't really, hopefully don't have anything. Hopefully around that time, nothing crazy happened and we can just chill and just listen to music, play some of the old schools. I'm gonna try to have a little debate with some person on here. We're gonna talk about like a different topic. We're probably gonna talk about relationships, marriage, and parenting. That's another situation I wanted to discuss on it. Like I said, this channel is about everything. It's not just about one particular thing because it gets tired talking about the same thing. So yeah, I thought to come on now to do this episode nine. Um, I like I said, I'm just getting worked in here. Yeah, the time is. I apologize if it's too short. Like I said before, I'm just getting used to doing the podcast. Um, trying to figure out more things that we could discuss about. Yeah, and hopefully the sound is better this time around. Um, still focusing on that. I think I got it set now with the sounds. But yeah, I just come on here. This is episode nine. Did two episodes today. Give you guys two episodes. Like I said before, as far as the schedule go with these podcasts, I'm trying to do multiple episodes on Saturdays because Saturday is my free day. The weekday I work and I have other obligations that I have to take care of. So on Saturdays I try to do two, if I'm lucky, three episodes in one day, and then Sunday we do the whole um, chill day, um, music, throwback music on Sundays. So that is my schedule. If anybody wants to know, I try to do my episodes in the morning, early morning, you know, to catch the vibe. Try to get up early and do the episode. So yeah, that's the schedule for right now. Um, I really thank you guys for listening. Um, like I said, I'm just getting started up, and you can go listen to this podcast on multiple streaming networks, Apple, Spotify. There's a list of things that you guys can listen to this episode on. Um, hopefully that you guys can go listen and enjoy the show. I'm trying to make it entertaining. Um, there's like I said, a lot of podcasts. I did this podcast because I like talking about, like I told you in the first podcast, I like talking about stuff like that, like the controversial stuff, the stuff that is in the news that need to be talked about. Um, voice your opinions. Everybody have opinions, so something I like to do. You know. You can also go see this channel. I have a YouTube channel. You can go see that. It's on my page if you guys want to go see it. We have one on podcast Addicted, Pocket Cast, Podcast Guru, and True Fans, Castbox, also Castro, and Podcast Index, Amazon Music, like I said, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and Fountain. If you guys can go, you can listen to it on all of those channels. Like I said, you guys, go to my page. It would be a link there that would show you where you can go. You can also support my page if you guys want to. It's on my page to support. That would be greatly appreciated. If you want to share the page, you can also. Um, like I said, hope you guys enjoy your Sunday. And once again, thank you guys for listening. I'm going to wrap this up for today. I will be back out here tomorrow morning with throwback music, a chill Sunday. And I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday. And I leave you with this once again. Every day above ground is a good day. Take care of each other. Be vigilant. Peace out.